There he is.
And Bo, Ashley's Labor Day sales going on now. You can shop and pay later with 0% interest until 2030, only at Ashley. Hello, Fran.
What's going on, guys? How's everything going out there?
What's up, Fran?
Do you miss us?
Of course, I miss you. I miss being in the studio with Vinny. I'm sorry I get to miss less. But a lot to talk about. An eventful game.
How much of the game did you let Francis watch?
He made it through midway through the second quarter, and then he was passed out face first on the couch. So he made a decent amount.
I mean, he contributed as much as Jalen Carter did tonight.
Yeah, he played just as many snaps. Yeah, it was. I mean, it was one of those things where, you know, he's at that point, like, he's bouncing around, he's running around, he's crazy, he's cheering for the Eagles, and I'm like sitting here, and I was like, you hear the referee announcement that 98 has been ejected from the game, and I was like, oh, I was like, everybody quiet, like, what did he just say? Just complete shock, you know, and obviously, look, deserved, you know, based off the action. I agree with your point, Les. Like, I can't imagine that it goes further than this, but yeah, just something that you can't have happen, certainly in a game like that.
I mean, honestly, a good teaching moment for Francis. This is you can't spit on people. You're going to get in big trouble.
Yeah, it was. I let Meg explain that part of it because I was too busy like trying to like internalize what this meant for the rest of the matchup. But yeah, it was. I mean, certainly impactful just because of what it meant for Jordan Davis and Moro Ojomo and the rest of that defensive line.
Hey, all right, Fran, we was talking about Jordan Davis looked like he was in shape tonight.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the house would have been loud had he gotten Dak Prescott down for that sack. You got to respect the hustle, certainly, and you respect the fact that he was able to make those plays late in the game. I'm sure that he was one of the few on that team who benefited most from the long break, you know, from the weather delay, just to kind of get a little bit of that juice back down the stretch. But honestly, like, it was a kind of a tale. You want to say tale of two halves. The game was so different, you know, up until that delay, and just felt like all the air got let out of the balloon on both sides, honestly, because it was just sloppy on both sides when both teams came back to the field at 11:30.
All right, let's talk a little bit about some of the things that you saw in watching this game closely, and let's start early when the Eagles defense was kind of, you know, grasping for air, and CeeDee Lamb gets loose for a big play down the field.
Yeah, this is a team in the Dallas Cowboys where, you know, Brian Schottenheimer, he's known for his, you know, his commitment to the run game and the run game creativity. And we saw a decent amount of that in this game. You saw heavy personnel sets where they would go two tight ends. They'd use the fullback on the field, the guy they just gave like $3 million a year to, Hunter Lepke, this week. So they made good use of him, and, you know, the rest of those base personnel packages. And we'll go to the first shot here, Julia. They come out on the opening drive, and it's going to be a heavy personnel set on 3rd and 1, and everybody's lined up condensed inside the formation. You can see this looks like run. You have nickel on the field for the Eagles defense, 212 personnel, but everything about this looks like it's going to be a duo run play, a downhill quick hitting run between the tackles for Javonte Williams. So now if you go to the next shot here, Julia, we're going to take a look at it from the back angle where CeeDee Lamb, his initial stem is working towards the safety. So he's really selling hard that this is probably going to be some kind of a run play. And Adoree Jackson, he's got to be cognizant of the fact that this could be a run that spills out towards his part of the field. And so he's got his eyes in the backfield. CeeDee Lamb is working towards the post. And then if we go to the next shot, CeeDee does a great job of just accelerating through this break and breaking back towards the sideline. Adoree Jackson a little bit late to react here, and the play action just gets the better of him. Honestly, when it first happened, guys, it was one of those where it's like, oh man, like, all right, CeeDee Lamb against Adoree Jackson, this is a matchup they're going to take advantage of. I honestly think that this was really good schematics, a really good play design, good play call from Brian Schottenheimer and this Cowboys offense. You know, whether that was Quinyon Mitchell or Adoree Jackson, I think that ball was getting completed just because of the nature of the play.
And yet it was clear that Adoree Jackson was being targeted in this game, and obviously the Eagles made some adjustments. What did you make of sort of the chess match of how Vic Fangio was deploying his guys?
Yeah, it was something that obviously, look, we spent a lot of time talking about it on Wednesday, the two of us, and then with Daniz and with EJ, and, you know, just talking about what all the different iterations of these coverages could look like CD outside, CD in the slot, different personnel groupings. What if the Eagles are in nickel? What if they're in dime? And I think that my guess is that we're going to see variety there from the Eagles. Now, you can't really confirm it until, and I was usually Sunday Night Football broadcast, like there's a lot of really good replays, and there weren't a ton of replays when it came to like the coverages that the Eagles were using.
Yes.
Yeah, it wasn't that they didn't give us a ton there, which was unfortunate. But
nobody was more upset about Jalen Carter being tossed on this first play of the game than Chris Collinsworth. He was like, "That's all I was going to talk about tonight."
Well, we saw every. I mean, here's a guy. You know, I think at the end of the day, we saw every single possible angle from that. But I would have loved to see, you know, maybe a second angle of this catch here or that run there. But at the end of the day, yeah, it's something that I'm interested to see from the film tomorrow. And look. I don't think that they're gonna pull the reins on Adoree Jackson yet, but obviously it wasn't a great start for him as the starting corner.
And it also, I mean, frankly, it wasn't just the pass coverage, right? I mean, Vinny, we don't want to call a guy out, but like the long Miles Sanders run,
bro, that was crazy.
I felt like he kind of turned it down.
Yeah, Fran, what you thought about that when he was supposed to fill that hole right there and.
Yeah, he got hit hard on that front side, and then the backside tackle got up to Reed Blankenship and gave it to Reed, got Reed on the ground as well. So it was one of those where you want one of those guys to be in position to be able to make that play. You're putting that more on Adoree in terms of like the back end of the defense, but a well executed run, great play. I mean, Zach Bond, touchdown saving effort there on that play, and it ended up becoming a huge play because the Eagles get a turnover later in the drive.
All right, let's get to the next play you want to break down, Fran, and this is on the good side for the Eagles. And that, Jalen Hurts was just dynamic in this game. He was so good as a scrambler. I think his success rate as a scrambler was especially high in this game, especially in the first half. What did you see on the first of his 2 touchdown runs?
Yeah, I think to me it was there were good examples of like good decision making as a scrambler. This was not, I'm running around and he's indecisive and then he ends up, creating some magic and taking off. I thought most of these scrambles tonight were like good process and then good results from Jalen Hurts. And this first touchdown was a really good example. Julia, if you want to go to the first shot here, it's in the red zone and Jalen's first starts looking to his right. And now this is a route concept, 2-man route concept where basically AJ Brown is running a clear out fade at the top in the red zone and Devontae Smith is running a quick out route to the pylon. And that's exactly where Jalen Hurts wants to go with this football. He wants to be able to throw this to Devontae. Smartly does not throw this because if you go to the next shot, Julia, you'll see that this corner steps right in front of this. If Jalen had thrown it, this is a pick going the other way. So a nice job, good decision here by Jalen. So now he's going to work back to the next part of the progression. And Julia, if you go to the next one here, basically you're getting a 3-man route concept to the backside, to the boundary, where you're going to get a shallow cross from Jahan Dotson, followed up by a Texas route from Saquon Barkley in the backfield. And the linebacker is sitting on this Texas route. I think that's where Jalen ultimately wanted to go with this football. I think you're hoping that Dotson is going to clear that linebacker in the middle of the field, and you're going to hit Saquon Barkley right between the hash marks for a touchdown. But that linebacker did a nice job of sitting on it. And so now Jalen, rather than getting all the way back to the other side, I think he feels the fact that he's got some green grass over on the right. Julia, we can go to the next shot here. And one of the things, guys, that I feel is underrated, wasn't really talked about all that often. They kept talking about, oh, it's man coverage and Jalen's going to run. To me, it wasn't a lot of man coverage. I think a lot of it was that you had, number one, it was a number of vertical route concepts. There was that 1 3rd and long where Jalen took off in the middle. It was the second quarter, and it was 3 or 4 vertical routes that were released down the field, and that just creates a lot of space underneath for Jalen. But then the other underrated aspect of this as well, the offensive line, from an aspect of this, the Eagles are always getting 5 guys out into the route. And he ends up running this for a touchdown. It ties the game here in the first quarter. But the Eagles are always getting 5 out into the route. And when you get all 5 eligibles out, and Vinny, you can speak to this, as a defense, you have to respect the linebackers. Everybody's got to respect that, and you're not going to have as much crowding at the line of scrimmage. That's more eyes on Jalen Hurts, more bodies in the vicinity of the quarterback. That's going to take away some of those scrambles. So I think at the end of the day, Jalen, really good decision making. I thought that he had a really strong game. I'm excited to go back and watch the film and see is there things that he missed, especially with the AJ Brown of it all. But I think at the end of the day, a really good night here from Jalen Hurts.
Now, do you think that maybe not that one because it was in the red zone, but when you're talking about like the vertical routes, do you think that is by design by Kevin Patullo to know, okay, we can take a deep shot and get the first down, and if not, sending everybody deep is going to maybe open things up for Jalen?
Yeah, I think that might be something that could be talked about. Certainly, every coach is going to handle that differently, and every quarterback is going to handle that differently. So I definitely would not rule that out. That's something that they talked about. And you're going to also is going to come down to, hey, we know this is how this defense wants to play it. We know that Kevin Patullo and Matt Eberflus worked together with the Colts. Nick Sirianni worked together with the Colts. So they might have an understanding of, hey, you know what? If we run these kinds of route concepts, this is how this defense, this secondary is going to handle those routes.
All right, last play to break down here, Fran, is the play that coincidentally was our forward play of the game, and that is the forced fumble by, now you have here Byron Young.
Jihad.
Vinny, break the tie.
I'm going with Jihad.
You think you know a guy. Like, you think you can count on a defensive lineman backing up a defensive lineman.
Listen, man, local kid.
You're going
New
Jersey. You're going
Jersey.
Jersey.
That's what I'm saying. Local kid.
Jersey over defensive line.
Against Dallas.
Get that
Night
in there.
game. Woo! That's a big play.
That kid can play,
He going to
Fran.
sleep like this tonight. You know what I mean? So
go ahead, Bless.
He showed up a number of times. I'm excited to see number 30 on film.
Yo, he play hard. Your friend, he a baller, bro. He play hard.
Right, you saw him playing downhill. We saw getting after the quarterback. We saw him in coverage multiple times.
Breaking up a
I'm
long
really
pass.
excited to put together the melt there of Jihad Campbell.
All right, let's see what you saw on that play.
Yeah, the big play, obviously. We'll go to the first shot here. And ultimately what you're going to see from the Cowboys, they're in another heavy personnel set. The Eagles respond in kind. So they're going to be in their base defense. So you've got only 4 defensive backs on the field. They've got 6 guys down in the line of scrimmage. And that man that we've got circled there, that's Jihad Campbell. He's down there on the line of scrimmage. Now, the Dallas Cowboys are running a version of inside zone. It's called split zone, where you're going to take the tight end from the opposite side. That tight end that's on the hash mark on the far side, he's going to come back to the bottom of the screen. He's going to try and block Jihad Campbell. But the guy who really first impacts the running back, first impacts Miles Sanders in this play, and Julia, we can go to the next shot, is going to be Jordan Davis. He stacks the right guard, Tyler Booker. You see the full extension there. He's got full control of this block, and now that's going to force Miles Sanders to initially cut this back because the run is supposed to start to the right. He now has to cut this back. So Julia, if you go to the next shot, we get the next instance of disruption here comes from Patrick Johnson, the other outside linebacker that's lined up just inside of Jihad Campbell. He crosses the tight end's face. He gets there and he gets hands on Miles Sanders as well, kind of slows his momentum up. You already see right here that I also have Jihad Campbell circled. Campbell has already he defeats the block from the tight end really, really easily. So now he's available to make this play. Julia, go to the next shot. And now you can see that you've got Byron Young already, he's getting ready to punch this ball out. Jihad Campbell's got his arms wrapped up around the running back as well. And so now you've got the ball on the ground. So I think when you're looking at this play, this is a really good example of full team run defense from those guys up front. It started with Jordan Davis, that initial, standing the guard up at the line of scrimmage. Tyler Booker is a really powerful player. This is a guy that can, that really majors in displacing players at the point of attack. And he did a great job, Jordan Davis, of holding Booker up at the point, forcing that cutback from Miles Sanders. You get Patrick Johnson knifing in, and then you've got Campbell and Young to clean it up. So a really good example of overall team run defense and getting a turnover. That was the final score right there. We saw that on the bug at the bottom. So a huge play there from this Eagles defense.
All right, Fran, we know you got a lot of work to do after you get a little bit of sleep. So we're going to talk to you on the show tomorrow at 2 o'clock on the PHLY Eagles postgame show, breaking down what you have seen once you've seen the All-22. But before you do that, what are you most looking forward to seeing when you turn that on in the morning?
Yeah, I think, honestly, like what I'm most excited about is Jihad Campbell. Just because it's something new. It's the first round pick. He played a lot of football. Honestly, he popped watching TV. So I'm excited to see him running in coverage. I'm so excited to see him against the run, him flying sideline to sideline. So I would say Jihad Campbell is the guy I'm most excited to see tomorrow morning.
Fran, before you get out of here, I just want to let you know you have a custom emoji now in our supporters club. Are you aware of this?
Oh, I saw. Oh,
Okay.
I saw. It was there on the pregame show. It was one of the first ones that got busted out of the glass. So,
All right, 'cause
very excited about the custom
you
emoji.
can do guys now in emoji form. This is very exciting stuff.
The more ways that I can get that done, the better.
All right. Thank you very much, Fran, for joining us on the Fran's Film Room segment presented by Ashley Home Furniture.
See you guys.